So I am just very briefly gonna transition us over and introduce Jennifer. We are so grateful, Jennifer, that you're sharing with us today. Stephen and I met with Jennifer last week, and just really got excited about the rich example that she has. And Jennifer, I'll let you introduce yourself a little further as far as your connection to outdoor school. Um, and I'll stop sharing, and you are welcome to share your screen at any point you want to.
I'm Jennifer Prince. I am a field instructor with Multnomah Education Service District's outdoor school program in the Portland area. I am at the Angelo site, which is just outside of Springdale or Corbett or east of Gresham or not too far from Multnomah Falls, if any of those other places didn't ring a bell. I'm also, so I'm in my second career with Outdoor School. I started there as a newly college graduate in the 90s, and then I went off and had a teaching career and parenting career, and after the pandemic found myself finding a place back at Outdoor School, and really right in my backyard because I live out in Corbett with my husband, Dan Prince, who many of you know. He's working with the nonprofit Friends of Outdoor School. So we talk about outdoor school all the time, even when I'm like, I don't want to talk anymore. It always comes up, but it's good. So this project that I'm going to refer to today is called the Teal Project, because Dan was the one who wondered if through my work with the kids, we would be able to get some data, basically get some sound bites from them to share. So he was looking for some, open, there we go. Do you all see the wood cookie newsletter? Great. So he wanted to be able to, number one, have a way to capture what some of the thoughts are of the students who were there to share out with donors and other stakeholders. And he meets with the legislature a lot. So being able to just have a way to share what kids are saying about outdoor school. So that is kind of where this started from. And then we incorporated it into our Friday overview activity. So at my site, we operate Sunday through Friday. Kids go home about 12:30 on Friday. So Friday is just a very shortened day of field study. And we try and incorporate all of the 4 field studies they've been studying about all week. So what we have done at our site is we'll start out this, and this is like an hour and a quarter, hour and a half chunk of time. And we have the same group of students this whole time. So it's varied. Other sites we've done it where they come to me and I did this, we call it the Teal Project, where I would have them for about 12 minutes and they would get a chance to write. But now we do it where I have the kids the whole time. And so we'll start out by just, the theme of our whole week is how is energy being transferred in an ecosystem? So we start off by just getting our own energy kind of ready for learning. So we'll do some different kind of centering ourselves, and then some visual imagery to get ourselves just ready to be thinking and thoughtful in the school part of the day, where we're going to go through and do this Teal Project. So every staff member, we have this, or the ones who are leading these activities, we start out by just reminding the kids that, you know, Outdoor School was a program that was started by adults back in the 60s, but we want to check in with the 6th graders, the students themselves, to find out, is it working? Is this something that adults put together that is valuable to you? Because you as the 6th graders are who this is designed for. So we need to find out from you what is working, what could be better. So we asked them to write out a few sentences or draw some pictures. Some kids will do it as a comic strip. It's really fun to see their different creativity. And what was it like to be at Outdoor School and Dan was at first especially looking for, since they have been back in-person school. So what was it like to be out at outdoor school when you've been doing school on a computer the last few years? And then I have some sentence starts that I have on a poster that I talk with them about, what would you say about learning outside? Or let me say it this way. How was it to learn about nature when you're outside doing it rather than in the classroom on a computer or looking through books? What was it like to meet other people, not only the kids from the other schools, but getting to know your students that you came out with even better? Because in our model, we have 4 different classrooms from different schools who come out, so they don't all know each other already. But even so, what was it like to be with the classmates that you are with maybe for 45 minutes a day, but now you're with them all day long? So anyway, we go through and give them some starts that they can use if they want. So at outdoor school, finish that thought. Or learning at outdoor school was, outdoor school made me feel, something I'd change is, we encourage them to give advice to somebody if they have a friend or a sibling who'll be coming out in a little bit. And we're very intentional to let them know that this is, and it can be anonymous. It's not an assignment. It's not going back to their school or to their homes. It's just something that we want to be able to get input from them on how does outdoor school work for you, the 6th grader who it's designed for. Whoops, we're going to get to that in a minute. That's what I wanted to do. So it's just a half sheet of paper. I just take white copy paper and cut it in half, and I tell the kids you can work on it the up and down way or the side way. So here's a few examples. I liked outdoor school because of water field study. The reason I liked water was because we got to touch and feel everything rather than look at a slideshow. And Sam did elect to put his name on that one. I felt excited at outdoor school. If you come to outdoor school, you will make lots of memories and experience new things. I liked animal field study at outdoor school. Learning at outdoor school was an interesting new experience. And then one more. We also like to tell them, give us some advice of how we can make it better. So this was this person. I know it's kind of silly to use my letter for this, but the cabins need carpets. It's just a big blank freezing space in the middle of the cabins. Also, they would cover up some of the stains on the floor. Overall, in a more serious approach to writing this note, I think outdoor school was fun though. And then he's got his little examples of the non-existent carpet. So it's really fun to get to see a lot of their personalities come through. Let me see. So what did I do once I got all of these? We had 5. Let's go to, where's my raw data example first? Oh, here it is. So we had 5 weeks. This was in the fall of 23. And each week we had about 100, maybe a little over 100 students. So I took all that data, or took all those papers, and then tried to make some sense out of it. And since this was the very first time we'd been doing this, I wanted to hear everything they were saying. So I would maybe take back from Sam's, okay, he liked it. He mentions water field study. We got to be hands-on, touch and feel, and it was better than like regular school. So from Sam, I might have like written down 4 different things for what he said. But it was very overwhelming to look at all of this raw data and then to try and compile it somehow, some way. We had, let's see, this is the how we ended up using it to make a little more sense, but where's the picture I want? Sorry. Oh, here it is. So overall, there were 214 types of comments that I recorded from the students. 107 I would have deemed as being positive or favorable in their assessment of outdoor school. 73 were neutral, 33 were negative, and so I put those in red, the neutrals were in yellow. And then one I left white because I couldn't remember when they were talking about having to do jobs at outdoor school, if that was a positive thing or a negative thing. So I just kind of left that out of the assessments. But overall, 58% of the responses was that it was fun. 23% talked about their student leaders, 18% liked the food, talked about making new friends, 12% loved it, 5% liked it. And then there were 7% thought it was boring or that it was boring at times. And 5% said they didn't like it, wouldn't do it again, wouldn't recommend, thought it wasn't fun, was stupid, was a waste of time. So that definitely is where like, oh, maybe we need to hone in on these 5% and find out a little bit more from them. Why? These here, the made me feels and the I felt, those were the common language that words that the students were using. So we tried to make sense out of it by looking at it in a spreadsheet. In this version, we started with just the most, so fun was mentioned the most times, 124 times. Student leaders were mentioned 49 times. And then within the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that broke it down into each week. So from week 1, 11 kids said that it was fun. 5 kids from week 1 talked about their student leaders. 9 kids said it had good food. And then you can like look down and go, oh, well, okay, week 3, maybe what was the menu like week 3? Because they had more kids thought it was better. And then, whoa, what happened week 4? Only 4 kids mentioned it. But again, this is it was all open-ended. So they just got a blank sheet of paper with our telling them we want their input. How can we make it stronger? What are we doing that you want to make sure we keep doing? What would have made it better? What could we change to make it better for you? Then we put it into the graph here. And I did not do this part of it because I don't know how to do that part of it, but people I work with did. But it goes on and on and on. Oops. So it is visually a bit overwhelming. Let me slide it this way, I think it'll be better. But it also does give you, like, you're going, okay, well, there's lots of green. That's great. Out of the 200 and whatever it was, 214 responses, there's my one. I couldn't remember if it was positive or negative. Then we get into the yellow. Quite a bit of like just neutral comments. They wasn't one way or the other for them. And then we start getting into some of the red. And I was pleased to see that at least it wasn't as long as the yellows and the greens. And then some of it, you know, too, you can look back at what weeks it was. A lot of the complaints was about weather. And you look and see, yeah, that was more in 4th and 5th week when it's beginning to be end of October, first part of November. And I agree, I was cranky then too, because of the weather. So, this is a nice representation here where you can look to see that, okay, overall, we're doing a great job, but that's where you can then decide, like, where do you want to start honing in on a certain area, or like, okay, now what? So what are we going to use it for? I'm just looking in the chat there. Yeah, coding and theming. So we got all this data, and then what do we do with it? So coming into the next session, and I didn't compile all of this until the winter. So then when we came back into the spring session, well, we're with a new group of staff. Not everybody was returning. It's going to be for a new group of kids, but it can help guide us. So, looking at, well, maybe we need to get some carpets for the cabin areas because the floors are cold. This week or this session, this current fall session, we started looking at them right after the kids wrote them on Friday. The next activity they go to is where we go and sign our name tags. And so the field instructors who would run this activity, we would quickly read through them for a couple reasons, mainly just to make sure there wasn't anything that stood out to us that we needed to be able to check in with a kid right away. Like if there was a problem that happened, once they go back to their home schools, we're not going to have any idea of who may have said, we had a kid in the cabin who was bullying me and I felt uncomfortable all week. Well, we'd want to try and connect with that teacher and that kid right then. So we did scan them really quickly this session, but we still didn't do anything with it unless it was a very quick fix. Like somebody said, my hands always felt dirty. I wish I could have had hand sanitizer. So right away that next week we got hand sanitizer for all the tables at each meal. So some things we were able to pull info and work put into place right away, but the majority of things, it's going to be like, well, we need time now to sit down as a team to talk about it and decide, well, how is that going to inform our decisions going further?
Thanks so much, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Am I cutting you off or were you
I don't think so. I was just, let me share a couple more things. One thing I did
great.
with the student papers, like these examples here, we just took a small handful, probably 10 to 20, well, maybe about 10 to 15 of them, and then put them up in our the hallways at the MESD. So I had this banner that I put up and then hung up the student work so other people could see it as well. And then the last picture I was going to share was about, I just had the idea today about when you're making the copies, you could run a sheet like this, and I just would put the week number on the bottom. So run, like if you knew you're having 100 kids out that week, run 50 copies, cut it in half, and then now you know what week it came from. One of the cons to that for us would be, we wouldn't maybe use all of the week 1 papers, and then you wouldn't want those to get mixed in with week 2's, because then you don't know, were those comments from week 1 or week 2. But like if you're pretty sure what your numbers are going to be, or you can go and take out last week's papers from what you'd be sharing the next week, this could be a time saver. Right. And after I made that copy, I thought, oh, I should have put, like, for us, ASR is our the site we use, Angelos at Sandy River, and then like S24 or for spring 24. Yeah. Great questions. It was just me and my gut. So there definitely would be, you would want to set up maybe some parameters, and if you were having more people than just one person, like what constitutes a positive, what constitutes a negative, what is kind of just in the middle. So yeah, this was all very raw, like I say, raw data, and just it was my gut mainly.
I am going to move us forward, but thank you so much, Jennifer, and just want to, give a lot of thanks for showing us an example where there was rich data directly from students that was analyzed in quantitative ways and qualitative ways. And And then how you're very clearly iterating, like maybe we could do it differently next time. Maybe if we do it this way, we'll even have a richer data set if we add some metadata around when it was done or which site it was at. So
Mhm.
anyway, love it. I do see how that, as Stephen says in the chat, exemplifies the ongoing journey, which was the value we reflected on earlier.